Commissioners broadcast exclusively on your Lorain County Community College education station. The Lorain County Commissioners cordially invite you to see the meetings live and in person every Thursday morning. The meetings are located in the Lorain County Administration Building, located at 226 Middle Avenue in downtown Elyria.
To start with, I'd like to introduce Miss Jo Rhodes. Would you please come up to the podium and have a moment of reflection?
We are a mighty nation, filled with promises and hope. And at this time we find ourselves filled with many challenges. Right or wrong, only time will tell. To all those today, sons, stars, and families, who sacrifice for the way we live today, please reflect in a moment of silence in the hopes the world leaders will come to a peaceful solution and our families will be reunited again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At 9:30, Mr. Dan Billman, Solid Waste Director, Ron Twining, Community Development Director, and Bill Ogle, Workforce Development Director, and James Taylor regarding the solid waste proposal.
I would ask that the board move into executive session to discuss the purchase of property.
I prefer to move to table this issue until after the meeting. And that's not the issue of Dan Billman or this 9:30 meeting.
Well, I've scheduled these people to come in and discuss this issue with us, and they are scheduled for 9:30. We do have a half hour, so.
Okay. Fantastic. I'm not going to move into Are you, Commissioner?
You kind of lost me. You said
She made a motion.
No, we have a half an hour.
Yes.
I don't understand what you mean, a half an hour.
Well, 9:30 to 10:30. The next public hearing is at 10:30, so our meeting should last maybe 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
And we can come out and
Oh, okay. I thought you meant our whole meeting.
go along with the rest of the agenda. Did you move to go into executive session?
No, you did.
I just asked if you...
I said I'm not interested in going to executive session.
I think if we want to have an executive session, we should do it at the conclusion of our meeting rather than at the beginning. I would be certainly willing to discuss
usually
the purchase of property in executive session.
When we do it at the end of the meeting, they can't hear. If we do it at the end of the meeting, then the people are usually not here, and they don't know what the decision is. And I think if we can do it now and then have another executive session, I believe Jerry would like one too for some litigation issues.
Yes, I am going to make that request.
And we
I'm
can
also
recess
going
again.
to request that we go into executive session to discuss new hires is on the sheet that's been presented to us. So there are several items for executive session.
I would just hate to have all these people waiting here until, say, 11 o'clock or 11:30.
All what people, Commissioner Vasey?
We have Bill Ogle, Ron Twining, Dan Billman, James Taylor. I don't know if James is here yet or...
Not here.
With all due respect, Commissioner Vasey, you scheduled this meeting. I asked that this public session not be held until we receive something in writing regarding the proposal. And I also asked the clerk to check with Commissioner Moore to see what his preference was. And we had a little bit of discussion internally about how this issue should be handled. And I guess I'll just start right out now and say this. I know that this is an issue that's important to you that you've been working on. I also noticed that under item old business, item number F1, There is an issue that Commissioner Moore has been working on, and then there's an issue that I'd like to bring forward that kind of piggybacks on another issue that you've been working on. And I believe that it's incumbent upon us to be respectful of each other's time and how we develop issues that we bring to the board. And I believe the board has a set agenda that we should follow to take care of the regular order of business that comes before us each week. And then these other things should be scheduled
Well, Commissioner
in a
Blair,
different fashion.
this project would create living wage jobs and new industries in the county. Would you prefer that we sit here and talk about trash liners and toilet paper?
No, I think that item's already been discussed.
And
It's been outlined for us
I'm
on the
not
agenda.
done, please. And there was another issue. Yes, I did schedule this for a Tuesday. This board voted on Tuesday administrative sessions, and I had 3 issues, 3 projects scheduled for that. I also told you that when you had projects, I would be more than happy to put them on the agenda anytime. And you preferred not to have the Tuesday meetings. You said have them as needed. So I scheduled this for Thursday, thinking this would be your pleasure. And here we are Thursday, wanting to table it.
I didn't suggest tabling it.
Well, Commissioner Moore has, and apparently, I don't know what's been going on with this schedule, but it's been a problem all week.
I would just respectfully request that we've had 2 years of pretty good working relationships here, and we've not had a problem with scheduling of items. And anytime an issue that one commissioner brings forward and the other 2 are not necessarily excited about having it appear as an agenda item, that commissioner has been free to bring it up under new business, and that's the procedure that we've followed in the last couple of years, and we have in fact done that.
Well, this would be a presentation, and I don't think that you would prefer that I would schedule a presentation that's going to take some time under new business. Now, I tried to be courteous so that it would be on the schedule. If anyone has any questions, they're prepared. I don't know what more I can do. I mean, if you want to defer from Robert's rules, I don't know how you're going to amend or change Robert's rules, but that's what this board goes by. That's what's in our resolution.
And everyone's wondering, what are we all talking about?
We're talking about...
No,
we're
this is for the
talking
people.
about how
I think the
this
3
board
of
does
us,
business.
yeah, the 3 of us understand what's going on, and like anything else in a nice, close family like us, sometimes there's some issues that pop up that need to be resolved. One of those issues would be how this board's acted the last couple of years, at least since I'm the expert, since I've only been here 2. I can only go back to 2 years. So basically the last 2 years, if somebody wanted something on the agenda, you'd have to get support from the other commissioner to do that. Usually that's the procedure that's been done. So that's kind of what's going on right now, for those of you that don't know. So I didn't support having a 9:30 meeting regarding this because I asked that I wanted to see documents supporting the program. I have an open mind. I think there's some very positive things that can happen from having a discussion like this, but I needed to get more information from each one of these departments, which I haven't had, so that's why I didn't want it on the agenda. That was the only reason. Nothing negative. So
Well-
when I said that I wish to table it till the end of the meeting, just so that we can get some of this stuff done. And
It's on the agenda for discussion. The documents, we have the documents, and I'd like to present them.
no. I'm not saying I don't want to see it. I'm not saying I don't want to hear it. What I'm saying is I'm giving you a little history of how things have been done. Now there's a issue here that this is being. I don't want to speak for Commissioner Blair, but it's more of a respect issue. When 2 of the commissioners didn't want to have it on here, and it was done anyway. Now there's another issue. I think it's just a personality issue. I think it's a good idea. I think we need to discuss it.
I've been
and
trying...
I don't have a problem, as I told you last week, I don't have a problem discussing this at all. I think it's a very valid, I think it's a good idea.
I hate to tell you, but I've been trying for 2 years to get this project moving. And 2 years later, I'm still trying, and we're talking about jobs and higher wage jobs and bringing industry and business into this county.
No, you're talking about buying a building to put all these people in. That's what you're talking
No,
about.
we're not. I'm not just talking about buying a building to put these people in. I'd like to discuss the purchase of a building, because if we discuss that out here, it gives an unfair advantage to the to the people that we would like to buy this building from, and our price would increase.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. But let's go back to the original reason why there's a little bit of tension.
It's debate.
No, it's tension because of how it was presented. I think that, Commissioner Blair, do you think that's the issue? Or do you agree or no?
Well, I think that we need to resolve how we're going to do business as the board.
Well, if we're going by
Commissioner, no,
Robert's
Commissioner.
rules, I think we resolved it. Either that or somebody voted the wrong way when we voted to go by Robert's rules.
And we've operated with Robert Rules of Order for how long?
As long as I've been here.
Okay.
And I think before I even was voted in.
Okay. And you're saying that because of Robert's Rules of Order, you can put anything on the agenda?
Well, I gave you a copy of it. I referred this issue to a parliamentary procedure specialist, a professional, and she's registered, and I gave you a copy of it, and I'll read what it says.
No, that's fine. I mean, I'm not arguing that. All I'm saying is like, it's just an issue of letting us know. I mean, I think, I don't know. Well,
I've let you know.
No, I asked you last week to get me all the documents regarding the presentation of the workforce development, how they can participate, how, at least get some information from Bill
Okay.
Ogle. I mean,
Mr. Moore, let me ask you this.
No.
Under old business, you've got an issue here. Did you give us any information, any documentation on this, but yet you would prefer?
Yeah,
And
November
I'm not
25th.
saying-
On November 25th, I gave you a router.
Well, I
passed
told-
it around to everybody.
I did the same with you and Betty. I gave you information before
On the router?
not on the router. If you want me to do everything in writing?
A router would, well,
I don't think we need to put restrictions on each other. I don't think that
Correct.
that's our goal or our focus.
I think this is an
I'm not saying we don't want to do
attempt.
this. I'm not saying I want to do that. I'm not saying I don't want to do this. I'm not saying that at all.
I understand that.
Oh, okay, good.
What I see here
That's
is
what
an
makes you
attempt to
understand that.
stifle what I do.
No way. No way, Commissioner Vacy.
I don't think
I-
anyone can do that.
I think so. I
Don't
think
think
that's
so.
what the attempt is here. When you're trying to take the duty of the president of the board and the clerk away,
Well,
that's a way to stifle what's supposed to be done in a democratic way.
I think perhaps then maybe there's the issue and the rub is the duty of the president. And I don't mean to offend you, but I'm going to suggest that for the past 2 years, 2 other commissioners have been president, and we have followed a procedure that we had in addition to Robert's Rules of Order. And when we were ready to discuss an issue or have a formal presentation, we had some agreement. We just didn't have one commissioner who said that's what they wanted to do.
Well, if I recall right, we do have commissioners that say what they would like on the agenda, and no one has ever stopped them
Oh, that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
true.
No, I've been stopped a lot.
from putting things on the agenda.
Wasn't the convention issue one that you wanted carried on the agenda, and
Yeah, well, Paula, how many times? Should I go? I don't have enough time to go through the last 2 years, but,
Okay, so is that
No,
what
there
you're
are quite-
saying?
no,
You
is
want
there
to
quite a
stop
few
me from
when you
putting
say?
anything on the agenda? Okay.
no, I'm not
No
saying
problem.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's,
Nor
if we're
I.
going to change the way we do things, then let's talk about that. Let's just not-
Well, change brings pain, and I guess this is the
That's a
pain
good
that's
one.
going to bring.
That's good. That's right. Change does bring pain.
Well, if we're going to we have adopted Robert's rules, what do you want to do? Do you want to just disregard Robert's rules and run the board without any guidance?
I don't think that's what we're doing either. I think that we have the right to establish rules and regulations, and Robert's Rules of Order prevails when we don't have established rules and regulations. And I think we had a procedure here, although it's probably informal, and maybe we need to formalize it, that for routine items, the administrator and the clerk would take care of placing them on the agenda. For other items, we circulated information, and when we were ready to discuss it or have a presentation, we had some agreement from 2 commissioners that they were ready to discuss the issue publicly, based on internal information that was presented to us and also accompanying paperwork.
The administrator by this board was not elected president of this board, and Robert's rule says the president of the board and the secretary, in this case would be the clerk, would establish what goes on the agenda, and if a member has an agenda item, it comes up under new business.
Apparently, we have a difference of opinion here.
Well, then we should have amended that when we did the organizational meeting and established Robert's rules.
I would just respectfully suggest that hindsight is 20/20. How are we going to deal with this issue today? This discussion is going no place, and we've wasted 20 minutes.
Well, we could have gone into executive session and
Yes, we could
discussed
have.
it.
Yes, we could have. And by the way, Commissioner Vacy, with all due respect, you sent a memo on January 14th requesting an executive session regarding the land acquisition for solid waste and the proposed uses of this land. So I thought that that was an appropriate executive session item. I don't know how that translated into be an appointment at 9:30 with these individuals.
Because I would like for you to hear what they have to say about this purchase.
Well, but I don't think we can hear that. Can we hear that in executive session, Jerry?
You can just, I'm sorry, exactly what was it you wanted to have?
Can these people be invited into the executive session, the people that are on this agenda?
You can invite people in to discuss executive session matters as long as you stick
Right.
to topics that are legally allowed in executive session.
Okay.
We can't hear what Mr. Dennis's ruling was.
Are you sitting too far away?
Yes. And normally we can't hear him either.
Okay. Well, I asked for new microphones a year ago. So. What I said is they are permitted to invite whoever they wish into executive sessions as long as they limit their discussions to topics that are properly brought up in executive session.
Okay, so then I guess I'm hearing you say that these individuals could speak to us in executive session about Commissioner Vacy's proposal.
That's correct.
Fine. I would like to suggest that the board do the regular order of business, and we have the executive session at the end. There are other people here, too, for other issues. I don't see any reason why they should wait.
I agree. That's what I said originally, so.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you continue, please?
Under Resolutions, number 1, Job and Family Services bills.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
There were no advances or repayments. Requisitions.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Yeah, I have some exceptions. 060, 03, and 061.
Could you elaborate?
Elaborate?
I mean, tell us what they are.
061 is the allocation of $103,000 out of our, what's it called, John? The capital, our general grounds fund,
Yeah, building and grounds.
building and grounds fund for
Right.
rent on the Board of Elections.
Right.
That's rent for a year this year. We purchased the building over there on, right next to the Moss's isn't there anymore, just the, but,
The parking lot.
the parking lot, but basically, I just have an issue paying $103,000 for the whole year, because my understanding is that in about 10 days, we're going to be presented with a RFQ, or Jim, on the architectural work for the Board of Elections. Is it, what are we getting in 10 days?
Well, there'll be a proposal circulated by routed to the commissioners on the next step with regard to the buildings on Broad Street, which would include the bowling alley.
My question would be, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
may I, these are to be paid on a monthly basis? It says monthly rent.
And we're allocating all $103,000 for the year.
And any,
Well, correct, because we're doing this on a yearly basis, but if it's a monthly payment, then if in fact we proceed to do something differently, the payments would cease. Is that,
per my memorandum to the Budget Department and the Purchase Department, we are to move to 1/12 payments on anything that is possible to make 1/12 payments. I think it's very prudent that we do that. There are issues sometimes, though, when we can't do that, so I can't specifically address that payment as whether it would be monthly, quarterly, or annually. Maybe somebody from our team could.
It's a monthly payment.
so we pay it on a monthly basis.
Is there a 30-day cancellation clause in the agreement?
Yes. There is a 30-day cancellation clause.
And we haven't heard from the Board of Elections yet in regards to what they want to do. And I believe that they have the majority of the say in this issue.
I think it's an equal say.
We pay the rent on the Lorain facility, and the Board of Elections pays the rent on the Elyria facility, but their budget originates with the general fund, so it's pretty much...
Well, but in their budget, they don't even have a budget for rent whatsoever. On the 1.756, you look in the column, it says rent, it says 0. So it's not even in their budget. So we're taking money out of our building and grounds to pay for all the rent, correct?
Yes, both positions are correct, Commissioner. It's still general fund, although the allocation, the technique used to budget is to be more efficient and consolidate both locations' rents under building and grounds. So it's general fund. This year, we're going to push it into one area to make it more efficient rather than going to
Just
two
efficient
different
with the
areas.
money, just efficient in how you pay the money, not efficiency on the money. $103,000 a year can supply $2.5 million or $2.25 worth of debt. We could build a brand-new Board of Elections, but we're trying to save some money for the taxpayers by only spending maybe $500,000 to fix up the Board of Elections and stop paying $103,000 a year to a couple of anybody who's been to the Board of Elections. It's not a nice looking building. So
I wasn't addressing the efficiency, Commissioner. I was only the structure is what I was.
Thank you. I think
not the efficiency of the accounting. Is what I was
that's what. Okay. As long as we understand. Got me a little worked up, John. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That needed to be clarified.
Okay.
I think we would all agree with you. It's better for the county to own the building rather than to own rent receipts.
Well, we'd be right in line with the Board of Elections budget. They had 0 down for rent, so we can provide that for them. So I think if...
Oh, Christmas spirit is all gone.
Did you ever hear of eviction notices?
What are you talking about? Board of Elections?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about they're not paying rent right now according to the budget. So we'll keep the Board of Elections on their budget. And by giving them a free place over here in Elyria, and save a whole bunch of money. But we got to wait, what'd you say, 10 days before you...
I anticipate a router to the board to look at an RFP to go out for the next step, which would be architectural and engineering work on the buildings.
How long would that take, if we agree?
If you agree,
That might take 6 months.
4 to 6 weeks to go through the process. If I'll end it there.
Okay.
I said it for you.
And at that point, because we're not talking about building a brand-new building, we're just talking about remodeling, correct?
Currently, that's my understanding, Commissioner.
Okay. Okay, so we'll
Possibly.
We'll wait another 2.
Thank you,
Okay.
Commissioner Vacy. Maybe.
We'll wait,
Maybe.
I guess we got to wait 2 weeks then.
At least. So does that answer your question on that issue at this point in time?
I'll answer the question.
Okay.
And then
Are you still going to have an exception then? I'm just curious.
Well, yeah, why not? You guys already passed it. Now we got 2
No,
on
we
there.
haven't.
No, we haven't
Oh.
voted on it yet.
060, I didn't understand the requisition regarding the $50,000 that was on there. This looks more like a $250,000 contract, but it was done before I took office, December 20th. And it looks like it's a reoccurring contract, so I don't understand why it showed up.
Which one is that, Commissioner?
The,
Every year it's done on a...
because it doesn't look like it was bid out.
Well, we've had that discussion previously.
On the CAFR?
Have we?
Yes,
I know we
we
had it
have.
on GASB 34,
No, excuse me, I thought we had it on this.
but I didn't know we didn't have it on.
This is the firm that the auditor's office has been using for quite a while to do the CAFR. You can see it was for years 2000 to 2004.
I saw it.
You're right, it is a reoccurring contract that needs an annual renewal and approval by the board.
Without a bidding process?
Well, it's they
this
went
look-
through the RFP process in
They did?
2000 to select that firm.
Well, I didn't
That
see it
is-
in here. All I see is an engagement letter.
I'm trying to see if somebody's here from the auditors.
No.
team. My understanding is that they went through an RFP process when they selected the auditors for the county. I, too, was returning in 2000, so I'm not completely sure, so I don't want to mislead you on that.
I wasn't
Yvonne, do
returning.
you have
I was
any?
just showing up.
No, I know they RFP'd out, but I'm not sure if the contract was for 2 years and opt to renew. I'm not actually exactly sure. The contract is attached to the requisition, though.
Well, the question was an RFP conducted? Do you
Yeah, that's what I
Mr.
said.
Rokas?
RFP was conducted.
It was done.
Yeah, by them, not myself.
Well,
So there
normally
wasn't-
RFPs are done at
Yes,
the
sir.
department level, agency level.
Right.
Okay, so it was done on the 5-year, or was it done?
I'm not, that's the point, that the contract is attached to the requisition, so I'm not sure if that contract was for a 5-year.
Well,
or-
the contract does say to 2000 to 2004.
Right.
The question was, and you've answered it, that an RFP was done to select this vendor.
Correct.
Okay, good. Thanks. I'm not going to have an exception to that one.
Do you have another one?
No, that was it.
Okay. Call for the question.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Travel expenses?
So moved.
I have an exception. Second.
Second?
Okay. 047-03. I know it's something small, but it's $20 to the Chamber of Commerce. We give them $100,000 a year. I don't know why we're spending an extra $20 for membership fees. That's at least what it looked like.
That was for a luncheon.
A luncheon?
A luncheon. Maybe while luncheon should be free, that's something we should discuss.
No,
but that's
I'm
for
not
luncheon.
saying that. I'm just saying that's what.
No,
Just
this
said
is the
meeting.
annual meeting coming up. It's
It's a
within
lunch.
the next 2 weeks.
It's a luncheon meeting at Spitzer's with the Chamber of Commerce.
So what, is everybody going to be
Yes.
doing this then?
Well, everybody who goes is required to pay $20. They don't have freebie lunch.
I'm not saying it's free. I'm just saying that we should be able to afford $20. I mean, are we going to be going to this? Because if I'd go, I'd pay my own 20.
Well, good for you.
No, I'm just saying for $20, we're just,
Our staff is not going.
our staff isn't going,
I'm going.
Oh, you're going?
And I'm not paying my own $20.
But you're not our staff.
but you're going to be running.
I'm
it.
on
You're the boss.
staff.
You're the
I'm
boss.
on staff.
So you're going to run it through then?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have a blanket purchase order, Commissioner
Oh, that's
Moore.
true.
Okay?
That's true.
It'll be lifted,
Nothing like a blanket.
especially if it's warm and fuzzy.
Okay.
don't
I
feel
have an
like I want to
exception,
this morning.
047-03.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to call for the question?
Further discussion? No. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
I think
Mr.
Commissioner Moore moved on, seconded.
No, you
seconded it.
seconded it.
Okay, sorry about that.
Mr.
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye with my exception.
Okay. Bills?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
And number 9, we're holding till executive session.
I would ask that we do.
10, authorize the following salary increases for various municipal court personnel effective retroactive to January 1st, 2003. For Oberlin Municipal is Linda Kelly, Clerk of Courts, annual salary increase from $18,872.80 to $19,064.52, changing the biweekly rate from $723.84 to $733.25. Martin Conray, Magistrate, annual salary remained the same at $4,800. Sue Smink, Bailiff, annual salary increase from $11,205.60 to $12,400, changing the biweekly rate from $431 to $476.92. Lorraine Municipal, Sue Danielson, Bailiff, biweekly rate will increase from $663.14 to $688.52 due to longevity. This above increase represents the county's 2/5 share.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Approve the following Commissioners' Board meeting minutes and waive the reading of the same for November 21st, December 5th, 12th, 16th, 19th, 20th, 2002, and January 13th, 2003.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Award bid for copy paper for the Administration Building and Department of Job and Family Services to expedite in the total award of $84,055.40. $57,979.14 for the Administration Building and $27,076.26 for Job and Family Services. These bids were reviewed by the Purchasing Director and Office Services Supervisor, and they recommend approval.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
These will be paid on a monthly basis. We're not just paying them up front, correct?
Well, as we receive the paper,
Right.
we pay the invoice.
Thank you.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Authorize the reappointment of Denzel St. Clair as apiary inspector for the year 2003. Compensation is established at the rate of $9.60 per hour with mileage reimbursement of 30 cents per mile. Funds have been appropriated in general fund in the amount of $3,400 for fiscal year 2003.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Award various bids for toilet tissues, paper towels, trash liners, and cleaning supplies for Lorain County Administration Building, Lorain County Correctional
Madam
Facility.
Chair, do we have to read all this? It's on the, could I make a motion to approve as item number 14?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
And thank you for typing all that.
You're welcome.
And Yvonne.
You owe us for not reading it.
I know, thank you. Under Community Development Department, advertise notice for the first of 2 public hearings on the 2003 CDBG grant formula application. The public hearing will be held on Thursday, February 6, 2003 at 10:30 in the Commissioners' Public Hearing Room. The purpose of this hearing is to provide information on the program for which the state has CDBG funding during the 2003 fiscal year. The county will explain the types of activities which can undertaken, the eligibility requirements for applicants for funding, and deadlines for such applicants. The notice will be published in the Chronicle Telegram and Morning Journal on January 23rd and 30th, 2003.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Under Emergency Management Agency, authorize local emergency planning district to apply for the $71,000 grant to the State Emergency Response Commission for County Hazmat Program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms.
Yes,
Blair?
John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
John, will there be a match needed for this?
I'm not familiar with the match on that. Mr. Kelly would have to answer that. I don't have information on that, Commissioner.
There's no match? Okay, thank you.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Under Job and Families, approve and enter into 4D service contract with Lorain County Child Support Enforcement Agency, Lorain County Prosecutor, Lorain County Clerk Courts, and Lorain County Domestic Relations Juvenile Division, effective January 1st, 2003 through December 31st, 2003. Prosecutor's Office, non-federal matching funds is $173,009.34. Federal matching is $335,841.66 for a total of $508,851. Clerk of Courts non-federal matching is $33,048. Federal matching is $64,152 and total amount of $97,200. Domestic Relations non-federal matching is $211,872 and federal is $411,280 for a total of $623,152.
Also move.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Authorize Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services to enter into maintenance plan contract for the Windows version of the program Expenditures Tracking System for the calendar year 2003 at a cost of $1,850. This contract covers ongoing support and maintenance of the PET system, and payment will be made from the contract services account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under Workforce Development, approve and enter into contract with Lorain County Community College Public Service Institute on behalf of the Workforce Development Agency for the purchase of WIB Youth Council Facilitation Services in the amount not to exceed $34,830.84, effective retroactive to January 6, 2003, expiring June 30, 2003.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
I'll vote aye this time, but this issue needs to be rediscussed, and I believe that a different way of doing business should be found when this contract expires on June 30th.
Under the engineer, accept on behalf of the Columbia Township trustees the improvement for 45 lots and accept the maintenance guarantee agreement for a period of 1 year, Crockers Landing Subdivision, Rich Barron Developer. The developer has constructed concrete pavement and storm sewer system for the subdivision, which has been approved by the county engineer and accepted by the township trustees. The developer has paid the inspection fees. The plat for the Crockers Land subdivision is recorded in Lorain County Record of Plats as follows. Crackers Landing Lane with number T270 extending easterly from Substation Road CR 61, a distance of 4,768 feet, or .903 miles. Landing Lane with number T271 extending northerly from Crackers Lane Land, a distance of 1,231.20 feet, or .233 miles.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Authorize the Ohio Department of Transportation to review the speed study prepared by Mastermind Systems Incorporated for the county engineer and declare a safe and reasonable speed limit for North Ridge Road from Cooper Foster Park Road to North Ridge Road, 1.81 miles. The study indicates a warranted speed limit of 35 miles per hour.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
We're not going to widen this, right?
Just a speed
Okay.
change.
Okay.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Approve and enter into Subdividers and Escrow Agreement between the Board of Commissioners and Willow Creek for the Willow Creek Subdivision Number 1, Eaton Township, Rich Barron Developer. $227,600 has been placed in escrow by the developer with Fifth Third Bank of Cleveland to cover 100% of the county engineer's estimated construction costs and inspection fees based on the engineer's estimate and cost improvements furnished. The county prosecutor and county engineer has reviewed and recommends approval.
So, second.
So moved.
Okay. Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Instruct the clerk to publish a construction services public announcement to contract for services in connection with the widening of Griswold Road to 3 lanes, Elyria, Ohio. Engineering firms interested in being considered for a contract to provide the required services should apply with the statement of qualifications no later than 2 p.m. on March 7th. Statements received after this deadline will not be considered. As required by Ohio Revised Code Section 153.6571. Excuse me. Responding firms will be evaluated and ranked in order of their qualifications. Following this evaluation, Lorain County Engineers Office will enter into contract negotiations with the most highly qualified firm. The total project is $2,138,112.
Also move.
I'll second, but is there anyone here from the engineering?
Wayne.
Okay, Wayne, what section of Griswold is this?
Wayne Belletti, County Engineers. From Lake Avenue to Leona, by the mall.
They doing any sewer? Or is there sewers there along that road, do you know?
Sanitary.
The sanitary sewer
Sanitary.
ends, my recollection, right after the lighthouse pools. But some of that property has been annexed into Elyria, so part of it probably will have sanitary sewer extended into it, so we probably should coordinate.
That's what I'm saying. If we're going to be digging up the roads and doing that, we should probably get these, stormwater management, the sewer, anything else.
One of the issues here is going to be the JED that's going to be back on the ballot in Elyria Township. If the JED's approved, it's my understanding that there's some plans to sewer that all the way down. I don't think the sewer runs all the way down the road there, does it, Jerry? The sanitary sewer, does it run all the way down Griswold Road to Lake? I think it's in the planning area, but I don't know if the sewer's down there.
I don't believe it existed, no.
So we're going to vote on this today and then go forward, not knowing if we're going to have to dig up the street again for sewers or stormwater management or anything like that.
Well, this is going to be 2 years in design. We have
Without-
environmental.
No, I know that. I'm
That's
just,
a lot of time.
but we don't have any plans that include sewers, correct? The way this is,
No.
yeah, the way this is designed.
This is just for engineering, Wayne?
Yes, the roadway.
$2 million for engineering?
No, it's a cost of the
Yeah.
project.
Okay, so what are we, okay, this is just for construction services, okay, but aren't we also looking at,
This is authorized to get an engineer to design it.
yeah, but,
That's what it is.
but doesn't have the sewers in there for design then, correct? Correct. Okay.
Commissioner, I don't believe that. We have to change a few dates here, but I don't believe an additional week will cause any major disruption. If you postpone the decision on this, I'll talk to Wayne and Ken, and we'll see what's what's on tap with this with respect to the sanitary and stormwater sewers over in that area.
I mean, we might as well, if we're going to start putting in roads, we might as well make sure we're doing them, so we don't have to keep redoing them.
Yeah,
Oh, no, we need to put the sewers in first, so you don't have to tear it up after.
Cannot dispute the efficiency of that, Commissioner.
Oh, wow. Madam Chair, I'll withdraw my motion.
Now withdraw the second.
Thank you.
And ask this to be timely carried on the agenda next week with the appropriate...
Sure. Wayne and I will get together pretty quick with
Thank you.
Ken. I'm sure that these issues have probably been addressed. We just don't have that information.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne.
Mr. Cortez, County Administrator.
I have only one thing is, anybody read the papers, they will see that our local government monies are being cut again. Other than that, I have no additional reports this morning.
Mr. Ennis, County Prosecutor.
Just a request that we have an executive session on 2 matters of litigation.
Commissioners report.
Commissioner Blair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first item is on the agenda. It tells about the District 9 Natural Resource Assistance Council covering district here in Lorain and Medina counties. We're announcing the opening of round 2 applications for the 2003 allocation of the Clean Ohio Conservation Fund Green Space Program. NRAC is responsible for the local review of applications and preliminary approval for distributions of funds allocated to District 9 by the state of Ohio. The amount for 2003 is $1.5 million, and that would be added to any unallocated 2002 funds. We are meeting this Friday, I believe, to review Avon's application. They had made an application and they have made some adjustments to it. So NRAC will be deciding this Friday whether or not their application, it's next Friday, a week from Friday, the January 31st. And then this is the new round for next year. My administrative assistant, Joyce Parks, has been handling this information. If anybody has any questions, please call and ask her. I'd like to take this opportunity to report a few things to the board. I would also like to request that this board establish a meeting with representatives of the Lorain County General Health District and their director to discuss the possible use of Green Acres home for the health district. Commissioner Vasey has a proposal that she's brought forward from Neighborhood House, and I would also like to re-review the information that has been presented to us over the past several years about using Green Acres for this purpose as well. And I would like to tell the board publicly that I have had conversation with the city manager of Oberlin, and he has forwarded some material to me which indicates that the present zoning in Oberlin would allow for the health district and or the Boys and Girls Club to be located there. But should a homeless shelter be chosen as a desired use, that would need to go before Oberlin City Council for a rezoning. So there are some issues as we work through this, and so I would respectfully request that we work on that aspect of it as well to help us in the decision-making about what we will finally do with the Green Acres property. Number 2, I'd like to report on a few things that the Lorain County Community Alliance is doing. We had a meeting yesterday afternoon at the college with various political subdivisions. There were township, city, and village representatives there looking at the possibility of pooling our liability and casualty insurance issues. We had a representative from a firm in Toledo who has had 22 years of experience in pooling that gave this information to the various political subdivisions that were there. In addition, Rebecca Gray is going to send out a questionnaire to members of the Alliance to find out some basic information so that we can move forward in making a decision on this. And she is also going to contact the county school districts to see if there's an interest from them as well. As you know, the county participates with CORSA, but some of these political subdivisions are not part of any pooling mechanism, and I think this might be a good thing for those that wish to join. I would just like to commend Ron Twining, the Community Development Department, the Alliance, and anybody else who participated in the various meetings that we've had to date on the stormwater Phase 2 requirements that are due to be filed by the various political subdivisions on March 10th with the federal EPA. There was a meeting last night. This was the second meeting where they worked with the different political subdivisions. The Alliance will meet on February the 7th at the college at 9 o'clock in the morning to hear some more information about the requirements, and also we're going to talk a little bit about the environmental plan that the community development is working on. Following that meeting, there will be a work session for any of the communities that need some more input and help. There will also be another work session on February 12th. I believe it's going to be at New Russia Township. Ron is still checking on that. For those communities who are not there on the 7th, they can follow up on the 12th. And then there is another meeting of the Environmental Strategic Planning Committee on February 19th. This is an important issue for Lorain County because we're being asked again to make requirements about stormwater generally. And there was a presentation last night from the Chagrin River Partners, and it was very interesting. The young lady who made this presentation, she said water quality it hinges on or is associated very closely with water quantity. So I think this is an issue that the Alliance has talked about for a long time. Lorain County Engineers Office has worked with us in establishing some detention and retention basins, and this is the next step in complying with what we need to do to help our county become more efficient in its land use. I'd also like to advise the board that the Lorain County Visitors Bureau is doing a marketing strategy in conjunction with John Carroll University, and on January 29th at 4 p.m. at Redmond's there will be a session to talk about how we're going to proceed on that. As you know, I have been elected president of NOACA because it's Lorain County's turn to serve, and I met this week with Howard Mayer, the executive director, and we talked about committee appointments which must be approved by the NOACA board, but I am suggesting and asking that Bill Watkins, who is Ken Carney's alternate to NOACA, again serve as Transportation Advisory Committee chair, as he did when I was president in 1996 and did a very excellent job. Thank you.
Commissioner Moore?
Well, I had none until she mentioned the Boys and Girls Club. Just something, I'm just going to throw it out there. We're paying gas and utilities out there. I talked to Mike Canterbury, the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club. He wouldn't mind going month to month if we could help him out and just let him pay the utilities, so at least we're not paying the utilities on an empty building. Just something to think about. So.
Anything else?
No, that's all I had. I really had. I will save mine for number F. So.
Well, since we did this, we're talking about Green Acres. There was an article in the newspaper in the editorial that the health department was not interested in Green Acres, and I'm wondering how it came about now that suddenly they are interested again. Commissioner Blair?
I spoke to the director, and I have spoken to other individuals, including some members of their board. I have never dismissed the idea in my mind that that was the highest and best use of that property for what I would consider a mandatory function of county government. And if we're going to look at various proposals, I respectfully request that this board meet and discuss the proposal with representatives of the health district and their director as well.
Well, if you'll give me the information, I'd be happy to schedule them. The only other thing that I would have is I was offended by an article in the Chronicle, no offense but to you, the reporter, but this article states, for the first time there's been a very close eye on the budget, and I think we're doing a good job watching it. Well, when Betty and I took office, there was a difficult economy, and yet the commissioners and the staff, along with the other elected officials, have been very careful to keep within our budget and to always have a balanced budget. And now I read this and I take offense with that because I just don't believe it's fair to the people that have been good stewards of the tax dollars.
Don't get mad at the Chronicle.
I'm not mad at the Chronicle or anyone else. I just think, you know, sometimes I can't always believe what I read in the paper, and I just wanted to clarify. I think everyone
I'm the one that said it. The Chronicle just reported it.
Well, I think we've all done a good job. We've always had a balanced budget. We've got half of the Justice Center paid off, and I don't know how many buildings in the county we've either remodeled or constructed since I've taken office without no new tax increase in the general fund. So I think I'm really proud of what we have done in this county, and I think a lot of people and employees and staff and everybody else should be very proud. They've been very careful in how we've spent our money. I mean, we could be like some other counties right now, and with the cuts from the state funding, we could be seriously hurting, but I think we're financially sound, and I'm very proud of that. Another thing that I'd like to report on, this could be gossip from the state, but when I was at CCAO, the County Commissioners Association at the state Friday, there was some talk about the governor eliminating local government funds, the state eliminating local government funds within the next 2 years. And I think that's our second highest revenue source. So you talk about some catastrophe. I think the times ahead of us are going to be terrible. And this is not only going to affect the county, municipalities, and the townships, but I don't see good times ahead of us. So I think you're correct in saying we should continue to keep an eye on the budget, but that's my thoughts on it. Anyway, that's all I have to report.
Old business?
Need that changed. Old business is all. They put the wrong stuff on there.
Well, I just carried this from
Oh, did you? Oh,
the
okay.
one that was on hold from the previous agenda. So.
Well, in order to get it, after convention center, if you drop out that word minor league baseball stadium,
Okay.
after the agreement is the sum of, cross that whole line out,
Okay.
put $50,000. Because the contract basically goes to 2 locations, drops the minor league team. I'm in the process of working with a couple of other groups in Kansas City and other areas that might do the work for the minor league team for free, but they want an engagement letter, so I'm still researching that. But I don't want to base a convention center to hold up, I don't want a baseball team to hold up the economic impact that a convention center could bring. So that's how the resolution should have been read, is that crossed out and the price of about $50,000.
Would you read then what you wanted to say?
Approve and enter into a proposal from GSI Architects, Inc., Cleveland, Ohio, for a development study for a Lorain County Conference Center. The consulting team consists of GSI Architects, Inc., it's got to be crossed out, C.H. Johnson Consulting, Inc., because they were going to do the baseball. And just keep it GSI, cross out everything else. I'm just going to keep reading it. Okay. Agreement is in the sum of $50,000. So it just goes, cross out the rest there. Did I read that right? You want me to reread it again? Or can you get that out of the tape?
You want me to read it over?
I think
You have
everyone's
it?
got it.
Okay.
So got it toned down, make it a little bit more affordable.
Now, are you talking about a recreation center
No.
for national events and sports type of thing?
I don't know if anybody reads the Plain Dealer. They're having the same issues in Cleveland right now. The only problem they have that we don't have is they tax their citizens so much they can't really do too much. And an issue they have that we don't have is, if you read Sunday's Plain Dealer, they have to get 9 leaders in Cleveland to all agree on something. I figured we could have ours done and making money before they do that. Basically, there's a lot of information in the paper regarding the profitability or how much revenue it can help. I think a convention center isn't a money maker. What it does, it brings businesses and jobs to this county, and there's a lot of runoff dollars that can be made off it. So I don't want to, we've already had this discussion in December. I don't know if you want me to go back to that issue or not, but I wanted to at least get it so that it wasn't as expensive, get the information so we can make a pretty good decision on a location and the economic impact and how much more of our, how much more taxes we can get from a convention center.
How would you propose to pay for a convention center? I mean, $50,000 would only be the beginning. That would pay for...
This is step number 1. I'm sure what we tried to do last year, and I think it was in June of '01 when I brought it up with the county administrator, we started working on it, is we need to form a convention bureau. It's kind of like what we do with the Port Authority. We have to have a separate entity that will be in charge of the convention bureau. And to do that, we missed out on an opportunity last year. I don't want to miss out on it this year, where the state legislators will be able to allow them to either increase the bed tax, which is my idea, because I think with an increased bed tax, people visiting Lorain County will help pay for a convention center instead of the citizens here paying for a convention center. And if we treat the $50,000 like an advance to the Convention Bureau, then at least we can get our $50,000 back from the revenue that they'll be generating. So treat it almost like what we're doing with the Port Authority, which is this is more of an advance of $50,000 once we get the report done.
Well, I would be very concerned with the economy the way it is, and increasing taxes in any area would really concern me.
I'm Mr. Anti-Tax, so I'm not, but this, what I like about this is people coming into the area is going to be paying for this, so.
From what I hear at the state, they're talking, and it's been in the papers, they're increasing liquor tax and what they call their, $1 on cigarettes. And they're not only talking about that, but they're also talking about every other service that we could think of, increasing the fees in the recorder's office and increasing sales tax, the level of sales tax that we can
Charge.
not only charge but levy. But it's really scary. I don't know how people are even going to survive in this world anymore. And here we're talking about starting at $50,000. We don't even know where this project can go. Don't you need hotels next to it? I mean, you're talking a convention center, then the next thing is hotels. Where do we go from here?
I'd love to have about 5 more new hotels built in this area. The fact is we have to take care of our own. It looks like the state of Ohio is going to start cutting our fees. If we don't start taking some economic incentives on our own to generate people to come here, spend their dollars here, then guess what? We're on our own. And so we can sit here and write letters to the state saying, oh, don't take our money, or we can say, let's do something, and let's try to generate some revenue on our own without increasing taxes on our own people. By increasing taxes on the bed tax, what you have is you have people coming in here, visiting. They're not coming to Lorain County to maybe they're visiting family, maybe they aren't, but they're stopping here. If you take a look, you got Route 2 and Route 80. We're like the center point here of Chicago, New York, who knows. But the fact is we have people visiting here, and they're stopping over, spend the night. We can have that revenue source. But that's just my idea. That's why I'm saying let's get a professional in here, take a look how you can pay for it. Other services, there might, like we missed out last year on that capital improvement bill. There was $1 billion being passed out. It would have been nice to get a piece of it for this project and not pay for this project at all. But we need to have the groundwork first. It's like the chicken and the egg. Okay, I'm just trying to buy the chicken so we can lay some eggs, and I hope it's not that doesn't take it a bad connotation. But the fact is we need to get something going here, and I think this is something positive for the community. They've downsized their contract to just do the riverfront down in Lorain. I've talked to some people from the BIA. I've talked to some other business leaders. They would rather prefer to do it as a private enterprise, but they understand, though, they need public support to do it. So this is something that's going to be a joint public-private, where maybe we're going to provide the capital improvements, and the private sector is going to come in and build their hotels adjacent to it and then probably manage it for us. But I don't know. There's a lot we don't know, but I think this is something positive for the county. We can't sit there and start screaming because the federal government's not going to give us money or the state's not going to give us money. We have to take care of our own. And I see this as another example of a way that Lorain County could be on the cutting edge. Because I can tell you right now, when we break ground on this thing, they're still going to be debating on where they're going to put theirs in Cleveland. And that's what I think is positive about Lorain County. I just think we got a lot more going for us. I was in Cleveland Saturday, and I paid taxes on a room tax, city tax, county tax, value parking tax, and another valet parking tax because it was too cold. My girls weren't going to walk that far, and a parking tax. I mean, it's just amazing what they charge us in taxes out there. So what I'm talking about in Lorain County, we pay 3.5% on a hotel tax. We have an opportunity to increase that, pay for a convention center, increase it, get more hotels built here. I think that's a problem I'd rather have, is people not having enough places to sleep and not having businesses here or hotels full only 3 months out of the year. I'd rather see them full 12 months out of the year. But that's just me. So I was just saying, here's a way that Lorain County could take the lead, and once again, Cuyahoga County can look at Lorain County and say, what's going on over there? How come they can get some things done when we can't? I'm not talking about competing. I'm talking about not being the major leagues. I'm talking about being the minor leagues, where we can get maybe 46% to 50% of all convention center business. We're not going to get those 300,000 square foot centers, but what we can get is what's going on, and Akron has their size, maybe something similar to what Akron has. That small, get the west side business. And we are located at a great spot in the state of Ohio in the United States. We do have a great location. Want me to get off the soapbox yet, or are you guys waiting?
No, it sounds more exciting every time you
I'm just saying, I mean,
do it.
just because I'm saying that, though, I really feel that if we have somebody sit there and tell us what's it going to cost, can we afford it, and is it worth it, I'd hate to see us miss an opportunity. And I see this as if we don't do this, then it's a missed opportunity.
Okay, I think you do have a good line of thought there, but maybe you might want to consider something like a recreation center for national sports events, for tournaments or something like that. But I still don't see where the money's going to come from. You're talking about increasing
Well, that's
tax,
next week.
bed tax. Okay, you're talking, but then what's going to happen if you increase bed tax here too much? Then what happens to the hotels and motels that we have in the area? Won't these people just go a little bit further out and pay less tax? I mean, they're
Not in, I just, all the taxes they got paid in Cuyahoga County, I don't see it happening, so.
I don't know what the taxes people pay now. I think about 60% of our income goes to the government, and people are supposed to be the government, but it scares me.
No, I agree. Let's have that discussion, how much you spend on taxes, you know?
You know, I might suggest maybe a survey on what is generated now from the bed tax and what could be generated and how much you want to increase it.
They'll do that, too. That's included in it.
Yeah, but do we need to pay $50,000 for them
That's
to
just
do it?
one
That
avenue.
might be the first step. I'm thinking the first step was to see how, take a survey on the revenue end of it.
Madam Chair, the information on what the bed tax presently provides is available from
Our department.
Shelley Marrero, who does the accounting and the pass-through monies that go to the Visitors Bureau, and that would probably be helpful.
I'm aware of that. And maybe, Commissioner Moore, if you can give us an idea of what the cost would be, or somebody might have some idea of what the cost for a facility this size might be, and then we could find out how much you would need to increase this tax. I mean, we just need a little more
Well,
information.
no, I don't want to make a decision on taxes. Who knows what could happen?
have to.
You might end up finding a private partnership and maybe not have to do any taxes. I doubt it, but that's
Well,
what
that
you
would be
pay.
great.
That's what you have somebody do all the work and find out what we can and can't do. Since Plain Dealer endorsed this company's ideas on their convention center, which is they're talking 300,000 square feet, marinas, walkways tying into the Science Center and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the football. It was a really nice design that they had. I don't see us having that, but I took a look at the city of Lorain and with the pellet terminal there, and thought, well, that'd be just the same thing, just a lot smaller. They're talking, and if you read the Plain Dealer, they talked about the $400 million they're talking about for a convention center. There's no way. I told these guys, I'm not looking for a Dillard's. I'm looking for maybe a Walmart, something a little bit smaller.
Are there any empty buildings, or can Ron...
Oh, no, I agree. There's a building I drove by over on, what's it? It used to be the Fisher plant, 466,000 square feet. That's what the IX Center used to be, a tank plant, and they're taking advantage of that. Now, I think, hey, that's another idea, and I think that's a great idea, but unfortunately, location. You're not going to have a lot of people coming over there. But I'm all open for that kind of an idea.
Well, what about-
Originally, what happened, I had Ron Twining's department go call the Sam's Club. Unfortunately, we missed that by a month. By the time we got a hold of them, that would have been perfect location, would have been affordable, we could have moved right in, and it would have been great location, but we missed it by about a month, I think, on the bid, and we never had a chance to even have a public discussion because we couldn't get in there. So
That would have been good,
Oh, it would've-
because
it
you've got
would've been
motels right
perfect.
around there.
now there's available space there if we want to rent. I mean, there is other options to do a convention center, but we have to create the convention bureau, and that's what I don't know if Jim's waiting for the go-ahead from this board to do that, or...
What does it take to create the bureau? And another suggestion I might have, maybe Ron could go out and find a private developer that's willing to invest in something like this. If they see
Oh, they're
that
out
it's
there.
good,
Yeah, they're already out there.
you might get a private developer instead of using tax dollars.
Well, I think a project like this is not a money maker because you're talking about the runoff jobs and the runoff of having people come into town. So what you're trying to do is, it's almost like the airport. The airport's not a money maker, but it's something that we have and we fund. I hate to pick on you, Sheriff, but the Sheriff's Department's not a money maker, even though we are getting money back from the other communities. So it's a matter of, where does government fit in help creating jobs for this county? And I think if we can just partner with some private individuals, create the brick and mortar, have it here, and that's what we can provide. We can provide the home for people to come here, have their shows. I mean, I've talked to too many people that have to go to Cleveland from Lorain County to have the shows. Fred Wright from the Urban League told me he wanted to have everybody come up because he was a new guy out here throughout the whole state, and they were going to have a convention here, but they couldn't do it because they didn't have a facility in Lorain County big enough for that. And that's what it is. It doesn't have to be a 100 or a 60,000 square foot convention center, because also you have small offices, like the one in Columbus, where you go into different rooms, you have businesses come in. And like I said, the reports I see from '97 show people spend about $247 a day coming to conventions. And you know what? 60% of it's spent on hotels, because people got to stay somewhere. So.
What about the college? They've started their convention center there.
No, they want to. I had to cut him out because I had to find 2 places. We had 3 on this. I was trying to get the price down. I was working back and forth with these guys trying to get it.
Well, don't they kind of use that Spitzer Center for a convention center also?
Well, they're trying, but it's not a true convention. What they have is they do have a place where they have. I don't think it's a true convention center. I mean, they want to get one. They really
need a hotel.
Yeah, they need hotels.
And that's part of their plan, except that it hasn't materialized to date.
Well, maybe we should just be looking for developers.
Well, all I'm saying is that this can at least give us the information to make the decision on where the county fits in on this.
Well, I want to know why, though. You just reiterated a comment about you
it could be the college.
Down to 2 sites.
Yeah.
Who's going to determine these sites? I mean, it says in this proposal about the site working with the client.
Yeah, we can make that decision if you want, right now. I mean, I was talking to somebody last night about 84 Lumber over there on north of 254. Another empty building that would be perfect for a location like this. So there's ideas out there. There's places out there. There's empty buildings out there. It could be anywhere.
As soon as you start naming locations of property, watch price increase, so watch it.
Yep. I meant to say Builder Square. Sorry.
Where's that?
North of 254. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, people, I'm just saying, people all have the ideas. All I'm saying is bring in some professionals, have them identify it. We need to know how much it's going to cost, how much can we do it, which I think we can, and how much is it going to cost to maintain and operate, so we're not just going into this thing blind.
I just don't want to spend $50,000 to get this information that we may be able to have staff or someone compile for us. Would you come up to the mic, please, and identify yourself? I'm sorry, but we're televised and you have to.
Untitled Chapter Services. I didn't plan to speak on this, but I just wondered whether the college had already completed a feasibility study and whether we can find out whether some of this groundwork has already been done.
Good thought. I would like to take more time and hear from more of the audience on this issue. Kim, now this is one of the things that I would like to have for an administrative briefing session on a Tuesday, where we can really take the time to discuss it, because we've got a 10:30 appointment here, and we're like 20 till 11 already here. But I think, these are issues and projects that we really need to take time to discuss.
If we wait long enough, we'll be screaming about the state of Ohio not giving us enough money to fund the communities, so I'm not going to bring it up again after today.
Madam Chair, I would like to ask if Jerry Ennis, you provided copies of the new agreement. I would respectfully request on behalf of the board that Jerry Ennis review this.
What is that?
This is the proposal. And
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just.
Well, I would like him to, but I don't believe we've asked him to review it.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think I got a copy of it either.
I don't know.
I didn't get a copy of that.
Okay. Well, then if it just.
Would you give me a copy, please? Thank you.
And
I would like to give you the courtesy to bring it up one more time. I know I don't want to hurt your feelings, and you're ready to put it aside. But
the Google lip is
no, I'd like to give you the respect to schedule it for another time.
So can we leave it for next week's old
and Jerry,
business,
will you
or
have
what?
an opportunity to look that over?
Would you prefer to take more time and do it on a Tuesday?
Madam Chair, I'm asking Mr. Ennis if he will have an opportunity to review this so that he could make some kind of a report to us at our next board meeting.
I will do my best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You're quite welcome. Madam Chair, would you go on with 10:30, please?
Where's my...
There's a 10:30 public hearing for the Detention Basin Heritage Ridge Subdivision, Browntown Township. Greg Abraham is the developer.
Where's my paper on it? Here we go. Okay, anyone here wishing to speak on the issue, would you please stand so that Mr. Innes can swear you in? Can you hear me?
Do each of you swear or affirm that the statements that you shall make before this board today shall be the truth, that you shall answer unto God or under penalty of the law of perjury?
Is the developer here?
Developers of the property.
Good morning.
I did bring a plot layout of the subdivision if the commissioners would like to see them.
Yes, would you like to bring them up? Is there one for each of us or just one?
Okay.
There's three of them
Here,
here.
just, I'll pass
Just
it
so
up.
you know, the cul-de-sac is north.
This right here is north?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Great.
Okay, the reason I requested this Quarry Creek, which is the drainage district portion of the subdivision, and the detentions on maintenance is down the road, if they aren't maintained, seeing that approximately 75% of the watershed goes into the county ditch there, or to the township ditch, that if it's not maintained, it could create problems down the road. Now, so far, approximately 9 of the lots have already transferred, and I have contacted most of those homeowners or those lot owners, and I think at this time, there's only one present at this time. But you figure for what it would cost for everybody to go in and help maintain that, then it would be a good benefit for all the people in the subdivision. That's basically all I have to say. Okay, do you notice where the creek goes through?
Mm-hmm.
It's pulled out as Quarry Creek.
Yeah.
Okay, if you follow that to the east boundary, there's 2 detentions, one on each side of the creek. One stores for the south of the creek, and the other stores for the north of the creek. They are on Lot 8 and Lot 9. Now, they pretty much can be maintained with a riding mower, something that, it's a dry detention. They have concrete gutters in them where you can go in and mow it, and it can be maintained relatively simply, and I think probably the lot owners would take care of that themselves. The ditch, on the other hand, will require more or less an arm mower to mow it once or twice a year. That way you don't have to worry about brush, plugging it up 10 years down the road, and then there, could possibly be a drainage problem.
Do you have any further comment?
No?
Okay. The engineer, comments, Wayne?
Wayne Maletti, yes, couple comments. There'll be 37 lots, and the average yearly cost for each lot will range from $20 to $35. So it's not an expensive cost as compared to the other ones. This will be the sixth basin we've done, or we're going to maintain. Like the developer says, probably, hopefully, it'll only need mowed twice a year. And maybe the ditch cleaned every 5 years. And we'll draw that money from the property owners up to 20% of the original cost. And the original cost of building the basins was $18,800. So this is another one of our engineers' maintenance policies to maintain and keep up with the future.
This is actually to put money aside to maintain this ditch.
Right. Stays in the county.
Right.
We use it.
And the information we have here, it says 5% of the $18,800 is $940 per year, which will be paid by all sublots. Property owners would pay 5% per year. This money would stay in an account through the county auditor's office, which the engineer would use for any repairs or maintenance. The balance in the account cannot exceed 20% of the original cost of construction.
Correct. So we have 20% in the account, we would stop collecting.
Correct.
We plan on using some of the money
Oh, yes.
every year.
Sure.
So once it gets close to 20, you spend it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we do that. We have an annual review, so that's how we control it.
Okay.
Okay, do you have any further comments, Wayne? Thank you.
Thanks.
Township trustees, any comments?
My name is Dane Leinbach, I'm a Brown Hill Township trustee. One of the issues that all of the townships wrestle with on a regular basis is drainage, and a plan such as this to keep this major drainage course open is been highly favorable to our board. The one thing that we have queried the engineer's office about is possibly contracting with the township for the maintenance of the ditch. We have the equipment that Mr. Abraham mentioned about mowing the ditch that we use on a regular basis on our road sites at any rate throughout the season anyway. And in light of the fact that we would be doing maintenance in that area with that equipment, it would be very easy for us to do that mowing as well. So I've queried the engineer's office about the possibility of doing that, and was told that they would be able to look into it. The only other comment that I had a concern about, we have another ditch in the township in the northwestern corner that is, at the moment, it's a shared ditch between Erie County, Vermilion Township, Brown Hill Township, and Lorain County. So it's a major undertaking to get cooperation. But the residents living along that ditch find it a convenient place to dump leaves and brush and so forth from their properties, which of course causes a problem. And the one thing that I'm concerned about as far as this maintenance issue goes is to see if we can't somehow keep the property owners from doing that same thing here, which would just increase the load as far as the maintenance goes. So, those are our comments. As I said, the township is in favor of having some sort of a maintenance arrangement for the ditch, and further that possibly the township equipment be contracted to use for cleaning the ditch. We are under the impression at this point that the engineer's office does not have that kind of equipment. So we're standing there kind of offering, I guess, to be a part of the project.
So did you want the board to hold up until you reach an agreement with the engineer's department?
Well, it's kind of a chicken-egg situation once again. You know, one thing has to happen before the other can happen. So the ditch has to be put under some sort of a maintenance agreement before the engineer's office can do anything relative to contracting for the cleaning of it.
Correct.
So, thank you.
Thank you. But this is a good agreement because we have these problems all through the county where these ditches don't have maintenance agreements like this, and there's no way of cleaning them, not enough money to clean them. The property owners, is there anyone here that would like to comment or have any questions? Property owners? Okay, seeing none. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I move that the commissioners approve the request as presented.
Just a minute, I'm sorry.
Robert Kish, formerly of Pittsfield Township, now Elyria. I am pleased to see that they are looking at the problem first rather than after the problem. He spoke about the leaves. That's a very good point. Leaves, branches, eventually people will be planting trees, probably right alongside it. Now, the one thing that they did not do with Muddy Creek was they had planned a 32-inch culvert. If this were a culvert, with guards to protect material from going in it, perhaps a culvert, then they could dump their grease on their own property, would not be dumping it in a creek. Ahead of the problem rather than behind the problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else? Sir?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I really...
You're anxious.
Oh, well.
One thing I would like to point out, when we did apply for the subdivision, we had all the zonings and everything that we had to work with Lorain County Engineering. They required us to have a 70-foot easement for the creek. So you got 35 from center line, both sides. That you cannot put trees, you cannot restrict anyone from going in there and maintaining that. So that is actually in the subdivision regulations. So.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd
Commissioner
like
Blair?
to move that the commissioners approve the request as outlined.
Second?
Further discussion? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.
Greg, if you want one of these copies back, we don't need all three. I don't know.
You need one, right? You just need one.
Sorry, Paul.
We are now
Save a few trees.
back to new business. Ms. Blair?
I have none.
Thank you.
I have none. Ms. Blair, do you?
I have none.
Board correspondence? Discussion? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore? Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Public comment?
Shirley R. Johnson, Oberlin. I'd like to address two subjects. One is to request clarification of the reason for the executive session on the presentation listed under the 9:30 hearing. Is it only on property acquisition, or is it a presentation on job development and so on, or any other related subjects that are not listed under the 7 reasons for an executive session? And that should be public information. If other information is discussed during that time, it is considered improper, not to say illegal, I believe. That's my first question.
No, we have to start at a starting point, and the starting point would be to purchase some property. There's 2 locations that we have in mind, and that's what I would like to discuss in executive session.
Thank you.
The difference in the 2 locations.
Thank you. My second question has to do with the Lorain County Community Action Agency. We had heard read in the paper that there was going to be some kind of a presentation by the evaluation agency operating out of Chicago, and some of us would like to have heard that. Was that a mistaken information, or has that been sidetracked for some reason, or what?
Actually, they don't come under the commissioners.
Gotta ask
They're a
them.
nonprofit organization and have a board.
Well, there was some information that they were going to come here and make some kind of a presentation, because their findings indicate that the county is under some danger of losing federal and state monies because of the report, and I would think that would affect the county commissioners.
It would, but I don't believe anybody indicated that they were going to make a report to the Board of Commissioners.
Then that must have been mistaken information.
If I'm not mistaken, Commissioners, and I can take a look at it more surely, I believe the Community Action is supposed to make an annual report to the board.
You have to speak up, Jim. I don't think people can
Maybe
hear
it's not
you.
even turned on.
Next week, we'll have those chairs moved up some, too. That'll help.
It's not working. You need to get some...
It's working now, I think. I believe the Community Action Agency is supposed to make an annual report of their activities to this board. Madam Clerk, you may want to look. We probably have received an annual report for them, and surely you can be provided a copy of that annual report. But I think that their obligation to us ends at that point.
Well, I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at my news reports. Thank you.
Okay. Will you take care of that? Okay. Talk with Shirley on it. Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
David Ashenhurst of Oberlin.
I was actually up here to speak about the Community Action Agency too, and I think there are some clarifications that could be made in advance. You have on your correspondence ledger their filing for the Community Services Block Grant funds that they are looking for this year, and a copy of that report was furnished to, or at least it's indicated on the report that's open for public inspection, that copies were furnished to the commissioners as well as all of the mayors of municipal corporations in Lorain County. So there are a number of filings that come to all of the elected officials in the county on an annual basis, both to apply for funds and as public reports coming back. And the clerk's mentioning of that report is coming through Nelson Ramirez. It is true he is Vice President for Housing and Planning, but he's also the acting president of the organization at this time, given its situation and circumstances. I looked into the Ohio Revised Code and Administrative Code on the board composition of the Community Action Agency, because there have been reports in the paper not only about Community Services Block Grant funding, but for Head Start funding, which is a much larger sum of money. It doesn't come through the commissioners, and the board doesn't come under the auspices of the commissioners, but the rules of community action agencies do require that a third of the board be composed of elected officials or their representatives. And that, I compared this to the way boards of mental health and boards of drug addiction services, airport boards, and I looked at one other in the revised code, and I can't see which one it was at this moment. Hang on. Anyway, I looked at several, Regional Airport Authority, the county transit boards, boards of mental health and drug addiction services. Most of these boards do say and give power to the commissioners to appoint a certain number of people to those boards. This one is not an appointed situation. This is elected officials or their representatives. And there are in the administrative code more responsibilities that are spelled out for those, for the composition of that board. I looked at the correspondence between the prosecutor's office and the Ohio Ethics Commission, and also between the prosecutor's office and the attorney for the Lorain County Community Action Agency about the terms of service of the current board members and who was really on and who was off the board. In that Community Services Block Grant application, you can see the current members of the board, and you can see how they got there and who's appointing them. And it is true that there is, at this time, only one person on that board who is indicated as an appointment by the commissioners, or by a commissioner, and that's Mr. Romero. There is a representative of Lorain City Schools who's just come on there. There's a representative of each of the mayors of Lorain and Elyria. There is a representative, apparently, of our state representative, one of our state representatives. And that's the information I have at this time. But I would express concern that either through the commissioners themselves, or perhaps through the Community Alliance, or perhaps through the Department of the Jobs and Family Services Office, or the Children and Families Council, that some additional oversight be brought to bear on this situation. This is a situation where it is not in the general fund of the commissioners to provide these services, but there are something like $12 million of public funds that flow through this agency on an annual basis without coming through the commissioner's budget or through the consolidated people's annual financial report. They're not even funds that are collected by the commissioners and then or through levies or anything. I mean, these are funds that come through directly from the State Office of Development or Community Development. And we are at risk, I mean, clearly, between the auditor's report, Jim Petro's report on Community Action Agency that's been reported in the papers, and the review of the Head Start officials out of their Chicago regional office that expressed great concern about the programs as well as the financial and governance circumstances facing the Community Action Agency. So I would just ask if it's possible, it is on the Commissioner's agenda as a correspondence item to look at that plan that's being filed this year with the community, the Department of Development, and it has come to you. It's a pretty good plan, but it is stated in terms that assume some continuity in that organization, which it seems to me other reports have indicated is in great jeopardy at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Robert Kish, 7 Cs. What I wanted to talk about was the way this meeting started. Of the 7 Cs, the 5th and the 6th stand for community cause. Quote, simple ideas come from complex minds. Turf wars not only hurt the nobodies who are turfed, they hurt everyone. About a month ago, I called Elyria City Hall about a water problem where water accumulates at the southwest corner of Route 57 and Chestnut Ridge. During the freeze-thaw cycle during winter, ice-covered water that is broken is tracked from the broken ice and deposited on the roadways. Elyria says it's not their problem. Call the state. I called the state, Garage in Oberlin. Not our problem, man. During Tuesday's Elyria City's meeting, I was told to call the county. Turf wars. Do you not communicate with each other just because you have a position of trust? Executive decisions only within their turf. I say the man with the shovel who digs with that shovel to let the water out is worth more than a person that's not going to do a darn thing about it. Now, I actually saw an accident that occurred there after I had called this in. Whose fault was it? Was it the man who was driving the car because he slid on the ice, failure to control, or was there a contributing cause? When I lived in my township, they had an area where school children had to hide behind a tree to protect themselves from people who would jump their cars 80 feet over a railroad track. The township says we cannot put a sign up. They were told by the state if they put a sign up, we would be admitting that there was a hazard, and then they would be liable. Fortunately, there was a man in the audience that said, gentlemen, this particular meeting is being taped. I taped it. He says, in case of an accident, any lawyer worth his salt will be very pleased with this evidence that you know there was a hazard and you did nothing about it. 2 weeks later, we had a sign. Now, as far as RAP, the Black River RAP, now here's an outfit that's been in effect since 1978. Anyhow, I don't know how long Black River RAP has been in effect, but the EPA has been in effect since 1978 when they issued the act. There have been many, many years of study, and in this very room they spoke of nothing being done. I suggest that they go ahead and spell RAP differently. This way it looks like a poor spelling deal. Put a W in front of it. Not study it. A workable or working remedial action plan. Perhaps drop the plan, quit planning, let's do something. We just heard something where they are looking ahead of the water problem rather than behind. The problem with most of the water problems in this county isn't that they don't know what to do. It's benign neglect. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Sir?
Grant your sign.
Good morning. Dave LaChance from United Auto Workers. I'm Regional Rep, Region 2B. And in my area, I service Local 2192, which covers Lorain County Children's Services and Lorain County Job and Family Services. I want to revert back to the health care increases. I did not hear any discussion on it today, but we do have a concern for the two locals that are involved in the county workers. I have two questions. First of all, number one, I would like to know if there has been any discussion on the carryover funds, maybe to help these county workers. And number two, is there a system in place to control future health care costs for all county workers? I am asking at this point here if there is any immediate relief available for these county workers. I think it's a shame that the county workers that provide help for the community, the people in this community, are very close to asking for the help that they provide as county workers. And I'm specifically talking primarily for Lorain County Job and Family Services, because with the increase of $54 per pay period, which is biweekly, $27 a week, a family making roughly $300 a week, that's a big cut in their pay. And I'm asking the commissioners that if they would take action and try to get some immediate relief for these workers.
I've tried to schedule a meeting for Bob Dunnigan, our consulting firm, Brandt Consulting Firm, in regards to the health issue. I think we're getting close to a date, March 20th, to discuss this with the commissioners. We've had some problems with scheduling.
Well, I want to add this. I've been told that there's been negotiations going on with other unions, that they've opened up their agreements. The problem I have with this is we negotiated in good faith with the agency's lead negotiators. Those two bargaining committees were told during them negotiations that what was negotiated during them set of negotiations would cover any health care increases that would happen during the term of these agreements. And then to get hit and slapped in the face the way they did, I think it's an injustice to the county workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Is there anyone else here that would like to address the board? Any questions? Sir?
Good morning. Tim Donovan, president of UAW Local 2000. I'm here in support of our fellow locals here. The intent and the understanding of good faith bargaining was to keep at the cost they were paying at the time, and to move up from, I think it was $1.56 up to $27 biweekly. I also agree with that. To just move forward and do that without consulting the bargaining unit, I think that's bordering criminal. I believe that commissioners should do everything they can to avert that and get back with Dave and the bargaining structures from both units. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I'm Sue Flack from Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services. I'm also the chairperson for the UAW there. So obviously I was on the bargaining team that did this contract. I would like to reiterate what my regional director said to me, regional rep said to you up here, that your representative at that table assured us that that was not going to change for these 3 years. And those 3 years for my contract is not up until September of 2004. Yet it has changed since the first year, which put it into the $1.15. I don't want to correct them, but it was $1.15 that they were paying per pay. And now it is $54 per pay. And I have a copy of one of my fellow union members that all she's bringing home is $303 since she was hit. She is the mother of 2 children and a disabled husband.
That's biweekly?
303 is weekly, if you figure it out weekly. She is bringing, it'd be $606 on a biweekly pay after she was hit with that amount for 2 children and a disabled husband who does not work. So this is a person who is definitely I had a discussion with you the last time that I was here. I was then told that I gave incorrect information to you. This is proof. I was told by, not you guys, by someone else, that said I gave incorrect information about the pay scale of the employees over there. Well, this is her pay stub, and I have a copy of it. So I have the proof that I am not telling anything untrue. And one thing that I feel very strongly about, not only because your representative represented you at that table, we can only go on what we're told by them, that they're speaking on behalf of you. Okay? That is what was told to us, and that's what we agreed to. That's what I sold to my members when they agreed to that contract. Also, to come in at such a late date that was hit on us, we had no other avenues because you came at us so late with the increase into November and all, which we discussed that before. So I feel that that is then back in your laps to help these employees. I want to reiterate what you said earlier. I am proud to be a Lorain County employee. I should be. That's part of my benefit package, being an employee for you.
It's not for us, really. We're serving the public.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm proud to be an employee doing the job that I do at that agency. I enjoy that job. I enjoy being there. I wouldn't be a 10-year employee. I'm almost 10 years employed for you. So, you know, you have a lot of people there that have a lot of years that they've put in there. And that's one of their benefits. And for them to be hit with, and they are a lower paid group over there of your employees for the county. And, you know, all you have to do is pull the records.
And you know, the morale of the employees reflects when those clients come in there, and that reflects the service that we provide to the public.
I would hate to say that, but you're probably very right. You know, the morale over there is not very
It's only
good.
human nature.
But that's all I have. Thank you.
And I do want to also include this, that I appreciate your attendance here today and reopening and the negotiations on the contract.
Well, thanks to all three of you for listening to us.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here that would like to address the board? Okay. With that,
Hello, Commissioners. Once again, I'm sure we all know who I am, Angie Martinez, President of 2192. Once again, all I can do is reiterate what my people just said. With me, I have two of my negotiators right now, and in negotiations, it was stated repeatedly the health costs will be contained. And if this is what you guys call containment, I'd hate to see what non-containment is. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else? Again, thank you for your attention and just thank you for being here. Okay, with that, I would move that we recess into executive session for legal issues and purchase of property.
And
Personnel?
employees.
You had an employee for hiring?
New hires.
New hires.
I'll second.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye for the legal issues.
Are you leaving us?
No, I'm here for 2 more years.
No, I mean leaving. Are you leaving the meeting?
Speaking about today.
Oh, I'm not leaving.